Hi ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button or turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop a link to the free Telegram group in the description box of this video, where we share updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in our previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. So stay tuned. We have here Brent crude oil or UK oil, and as of last week, we are looking for a possible pullback to this area of interest to give us some selling opportunities. Price pulled back and give us this nice head and shoulder formation. We're able to catch this position at the right shoulder on this 4-hour engulfing candle, and we're currently holding on to this position. So going into next week, we are looking for a possible entry, a possible second entry on this trade. So it should price retest this daily structure we have here, or the neckline of the head and shoulder, or should it pull back even to our entry area, we will still be interested in looking for selling opportunities from here to the downside. So we are looking for a possible second entry on this trade. Our target is $75, between $75 to $66 per barrel on Brent crude oil. That's our area of interest where we'll be targeting this sell position on. We have here GBPNZD, and GBPNZD we got a pullback into the area of interest, and upon the reversal it wasn't too clean. If you take out this wick, this is more like a head and shoulder formation, so we had to take this trade regardless. And as price was moving, it's not too clear. We're not seeing that strong momentum to the downside. So we were likely going to close this trade if we get a 4-hour candle break above this 4-hour structure point. And if it does that, the price may likely develop something else. So we would want to be on the lookout for this position. If we get that 4-hour candle closure above this 4-hour structure, we'll close this trade before it hits our SL. And if that happens, it's likely going to form a harmonic pattern, which is not very clear, but it's also very possible. So this is going to be the X, the A, the B, and the C leg, and the possible D leg. So if we get we get a 4-hour structure break above this 4-hour structure point, we might get something like this, a retest and then a continuation to the upside. So this is also possible on GBPNZD. So if that happens, we are going to close our trade. Yeah. So this is the price point around 2.29973. If price closes with a 4-hour candle above that, we are out of this position on the sell side. This is natural gas, and for natural gas, we had this retracement back into this area of interest. So going into next week, we are looking forward to selling opportunities from here to the downside to continue this sell move that we have been holding on to for some weeks now. So we are looking forward to selling opportunities from here next week and to the downside. So we are still holding on to this position on natural gas. We have here CAD CHF, and so for CAD CHF we didn't take this trade. CAD CHF price pulled back into the area of interest and gave us this head and shoulder formation. So we wanted to take the entry at the neckline of the retest of the head and shoulder formation, but as price approached the area, it was very aggressive, so we couldn't just enter this position while it got there. And I mean, there was a confirmation, but we missed out on it, so this trade was not taken. So we had this rejection and this strong bearish engulfing candle, which would have been our entry, but then we missed out on it, so this trade was not taken on CAD CHF. This is US oil or WTI. So similar to the UK oil, we were anticipating that this was going to give us like a head and shoulder formation, but this one rather turned out to be a lower high formation rather, and then price tanked to the downside. So going into next week, we can look forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest to look for selling opportunities from there to the downside. So this one, the target is between $70 to $61 per barrel for WTI crude. So let's look out for that in the coming week. This is AUDCAD. So for AUDCAD, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us buying opportunities. Price was like few pips shy away from the area of interest, and it just took off. So we missed out on this buy move. But going into next week, if price retests this area of interest and gives us some reaction, you can get some buys to continue to the upside to the second TP above. These two zones will still be active. If price makes its way there and gives us bullish confirmations from here, we can still take our buys from here on AUDCAD. So let's have a look at the economic calendar for the coming week. So let's take note of these high impact news for the week. So on Monday, we're going to have the CAD CPI and also the NZDCPI on Monday. On Tuesday, we're going to have the GBP payment and count change for GBP, and it's also going to be the core retail sales for the USD. And then the Fed Chair designate Kevin Wash will testify on his, I think it's appointment or something like that on Tuesday. And Wednesday, we're going to have the GBP CPI, and Thursday, we're going to have the German flash manufacturing PMI, which is going to affect the euro, and then GBP flash manufacturing PMI, which is also going to affect the GBP. And also on Friday, we're going to have the retail sales for GBP. So let's see what we have for the coming week. Sorry. This is DXY. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this very first area of interest or second area of interest to give us selling opportunities to the downside. Price never pulled back for us to get that opportunity, and it kept going down. So going into next week, we'll still consider these areas of interest as an area for selling opportunity to the downside. But then we are also going to look out for this area of interest as for this very first one. If we get a retest of this area of interest and we get selling opportunities from here, we can take the sales from here to the downside. So we are still very bearish on DXY for the coming week. All we are looking for is that possible pullback, and if that happens, it can also give us a possible C leg of a harmonic pattern. So we are likely to go to something like this. This will be our X, this will be our A. So this is going to be the X, the A, possible B leg, and we are looking for the C leg to pull back here, and we get a D leg to the downside. So let's be on the lookout for something like this, like a possible harmonic pattern formation. If price breaks above this structure points above here and comes for retest, then we know that DXY has shifted bullish. So let's look out for this possible pullback and then look for selling opportunities to the downside for DXY. So these are the various targets we have below. We have here EURUSD, similar to the DXY, an inverse of the DXY. We're anticipating that price is going to retest these daily structure points and give us buying confirmations to the upside. Price went ahead and took off to the upside, but then we didn't get a retest. But going into next week, if we get a retest of this structure point, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here, and that's also going to give us a possible harmonic pattern formation, which is going to be, this is going to be X, this is going to be A, and possible B leg, and we're waiting for it. We're waiting for the C leg formation, whether it retests the daily structure or it even drops a bit lower to this area. We look for the formation of the C leg, then we look for buying opportunities to the upside to complete the D leg. So this is what we are looking out for on EURUSD. If price finally finds its way to violate this area of interest, then we know that we are going bearish on EURUSD. Until then, we are bullish. We have sentiment as bullish. All we are waiting for is a possible pullback to give us an opportunity to take the buys to the upside. This is GBPUSD, similar to what we saw on EURUSD last week. We are anticipating that price is going to pull back into these two areas of interest, but price never made its way there. So going into next week, we are looking forward to this pullback also. If price pull back to this area of interest and give us buying opportunities, we'll take it to the upside. And if it drops or sells to any of these two areas of interest and it still gives us buying opportunities, we'll still be glad to take the buy to the upside. We saw or identify this as a possible running flat correction, and we are looking forward to the impulse to develop. So let's and hold on to this. Let's look out for this for GBPUSD for the coming week. We have USDCHF. So for USDCHF, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest about. We anticipated that price was going to pull back right here instead, give us some selling opportunity to the downside, but it never happened that way. So going into next week, we are looking forward to this pullback instead, which is going to give us a possible C-leg formation to take the sell to the downside for USD CHF. So this is going to be the pattern, the potential pattern that is being identified. This is the X, this is going to be the A, and a possible D leg. We're looking forward to a C leg and then a D leg to the downside. So we're looking forward to this sell move on USD CHF for the coming week. Should price and break above this zone here, then we know they are going bullish. So to the next. This is NZDUSD. And so for NZDUSD, similar to GBPUSD, we're looking forward to this pullback into any of these two areas of interest to give us buying opportunities, but the pullback didn't come. So going into next week, if we get a retest of this structure, this area of interest, and we get a buying opportunity, we can take it to the upside. Should price go back to the initial zones we were looking out for last week, we will still be interested in looking for the buys from any of these two zones as well. And this is also going to give us a possible harmonic pattern information, just as we saw on DXY. So let's be on the lookout. This is going to be the X, this is going to be a possible B, looking for a C leg, and then you're going straight for a D leg on the bullish side. So we are bullish on NZDUSD. This can only be invalidated, or this can only shift bearish if we see price break below the structure point and then continues to the downside. So we are very bullish on NZDUSD. This is EURJPY. So for EURJPY, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest and then take off to the upside. Price was very parabolic during the week, and then at the latter part of the week, we started seeing the pullback coming in. So going into next week, we are still going to look at the same position for EURJPY. We are looking forward to this pullback into this area of interest to look for buying opportunities from here. This very first one, we look for buying opportunities from here to the upside, or should price pull back a bit deeper to the second zone, we look for the buying opportunities from there as well to the upside. So we are very bullish on EURJPY because the JPY index is very weak now. This is GBPJPY. So for GBPJPY, it's something similar to the EURJPY. We are still looking forward to this pullback into these two areas of interest and look for buying opportunities to the upside. Due to the possible weakness in the USD and then the weakness in the JPY index, the USDJPY might be playing around. It might not give us some clear direction because both pairs or both currencies are weak. So that's why we didn't look at USDJPY and rather considered the other JPY pairs here. So this is CHFJPY. So for CHFJPY, we are looking forward to this possible pullback into this area of interest for buying opportunities to the upside. Should it pull back a bit deeper to the zone below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from there to the upside. So we are very bullish on CHFJPY. Should price and break below this daily structure and come for a retest, then we know that we are going bearish. Until then, we are very bullish on CHFJPY. This is AUDJPY. Last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest. Price retested the area of interest very swiftly and then just took off. But then going into this week, the coming week, we are looking forward to similar or possibly the same setup. So if price retests this first zone and give us buying opportunities here, we'll take it to the upside. If it comes down to the second zone, we'll take it. If it comes down to the third zone, we'll look for the buys from there as well. So we are very bullish on AUDJPY for the coming week. Should price now break below this structure, then we know that we are going bearish on AUDJPY. This is NZDJPY. NZDJPY is also very bullish now. So going into next week, what we'll be looking out for is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. We'll look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone, we'll be interested in taking the buys from there also. Should it come all the way down to this third zone, then we'll still be interested in looking for the buys from here. Now, this can only consider this bearish if we get price to break below this daily structure points here, and we come for a retest, and we know that we are going downside. Until then, we are very bullish on NZDJPY for the coming week. Sorry. This is EURCAD. So EURCAD, we saw this position from last week where we anticipated that price was going to pull back into any of these two zones to give us some buying opportunities. We are now seeing the pullback coming in. So going into next week, we are still going to hold on to the same setup and look for buying confirmations from this zone, this very first zone, or the second zone below, and look for buying opportunities to the upside. So we are still very bullish on EURCAD for the coming week. This is EURCHF. For EURCHF, we missed out on this entry by some few pips. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back and give us an entry around 0.92366, and then this was the entry, but then price was just some few pips shy away from the entry, so we missed out on this entry for EURCHF. But all is not lost. We still have more opportunities to the downside. So going into next week, we have this nice head and shoulder formation right here. So this is the what do you call it? The left shoulder. This is the head, the right shoulder right here. So what we are looking for is the pullback into the neckline. So we are looking forward to this. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a pullback into this area of interest, and we look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. So this setup, earlier setup, might not hold, but if price also finds its way to retest or give us an entry again here, we will also be glad to take the sell from there also to the downside. So these are various targets we have below for EURCHF. We are very bearish on EURCHF for the coming week. This is EURGBP. So for EURGBP, it's a bit tricky. We have a clean head and shoulder formation to the downside. We also have a clean harmonic pattern to the upside. So this is the harmonic pattern that is developing to the upside. So this is the X, this is the A, this is the B leg, this is the C leg, and a possible D leg up here. So going into next week, we have this development here, which looks like a correction, more like a triangle correction in Elliott wave. So we are going to approach EURGBP in these two scenarios. So if we get a daily candle or a 4-hour candle to close above or break out of this channel, and we get a retest of this zone, we'll take our buys to the upside to complete the harmonic pattern. But then if we get a daily candle, to close below these structures here, if we get a daily candle to close, then we come for a retest and look for sales to this target we have here at 0.86597. So these are the possible scenarios we have on EURGBP. If we break out upside, we are going to complete this harmonic pattern. If we break this structure point to the downside with a daily candle, then we know we are going bearish to this very target we have here. And then maybe from there we'll start looking out for buys to the upside, or price can just break this low and continue with the weekly head and shoulder formation we identified some weeks ago. This is GBPAUD. GBPAUD is very bearish now. It is very bearish. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. We look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. So we are very bearish on GBPAUD. Should price pull back a bit higher into the zone, second zone above, or second area of interest above, we will still be interested in taking the sales from there. Should price value this zone and then break above, we might likely look for buying opportunities from here instead than the selling side or the sell side for GBPAUD. We have here gold. So for gold, going into next week, gold and the bullishness is more visible on the 4-hour time frame. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone below, we will still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside to the various targets we have above right here on gold. So we are very bullish on gold for the coming week. This is silver, and so for silver too, the bullishness is more visible on the 4-hour time frame, but for the weekly and the daily, it still looks bearish. So going into next week, we will look forward to a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Take our buys from here to the upside. Should we pull back to the second area of interest below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. If price shifts these structures here, it might likely shift bearish. So we are going to look out for the buys first and see how it goes on what do you call it, on silver. Sorry, this is S&P 500, and we are now extremely bullish on S&P 500. So going into next week, all we are looking out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. The first area of interest, we look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone, we will still be interested in taking the buys from there to the downside. Sorry, to the upside on S&P 500. If price breaks below this zone, then we're now looking out for some sells on this side. But for now, we are very bullish on S&P 500 for the coming week. This is NASDAQ, and NASDAQ has a similar setup as S&P 500. So we're also going to look out for this possible pullback into these two areas of interest we have here. If we get a pullback here, first we look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. If that doesn't work, we look for buying opportunities from here. It's the second zone we have below. Then we take our buys from there to the upside. Should price pull back and then break this zone, we might likely look out for the sell side of things for NASDAQ. This is Russell 2000 or US 2000, similar setup as NASDAQ also. We're looking forward to a possible pullback to this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities upside. Should that zone fail, look for buying opportunities in this second zone or this third zone. So we are very bullish on US 2000 unless price and clears this zone to the downside, then we know that we are shifting bearish again. We also have Australia 200, and for Australia 200 from last week, we were looking forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest to give us some buying opportunities to the upside. We are still holding on to this same setup for Australia 200 for the coming week. If we get a retest back into the area of interest here and we get buying opportunities, we'll take it to the upside on Australia 200. We also have the Nikkei 225. We also have the Nikkei 225, which last week we were looking forward to a possible harmonic pattern formation, and we're looking forward to a possible pullback. We're looking forward to a possible pullback to this area of interest to give us some buying opportunities to the upside. But then the pullback didn't come low enough to reach us the area of interest, and price just took off. So going into next week, we are looking forward to more upside on this index. So should price pull back to this area of interest we have here, give us buying opportunities, we take the buys to the upside. But if price still finds its way to retest this area of interest, we'll still be interested in taking the buys to the upside for the Nikkei 225 or the JPM 225. So we are very bullish on the JPM 225. So I think for the last one, those who are into exotic pairs, this is for you. So we have the USDZAR. The USDZAR is also reacting from a strong area of interest, and it's likely going to form a harmonic pattern. So going into next week, we are looking for a possible pullback into this area of interest to look for selling opportunities to the downside. So this will be the possible harmonic pattern that is going to form. So this is going to be the X, this is going to be the A, and the possible B. We're looking forward to the C leg to form, and then we look forward to the sell to the downside, the possible D leg formation to the downside. So we are looking out for some sells on USDZAR, on USDZAR. So thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for your time. I'll encourage all of us to apply proper risk management to our trades and trade safe and sound. I wish all of us a very fruitful and a very profitable week ahead of us. And take good care of yourself and have a wonderful time. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on another episode. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and drop your comments, and also join the Telegram group where we share updates on these setups as the week unfolds. Thank you so much and have a wonderful week. Bye bye.